You're listening to Healthy Living with Eric Sue Podcast, episode 139. To be successful, we all need a coach, someone who can give you the solutions and keep you accountable on your health journey. With this in mind, I created a mastermind group. You get access to my 15 years of experience and the ability to interact with me on a weekly basis. You can learn more about it at www.ericwsue.com/mastermind. Check it out today. Are you a first-time listener? Hey, welcome. My team and I hope you enjoy this episode. If you are a long-time listener, we thank you for your continued support. Do us a favor and share this podcast with all your friends because they deserve this amazing content as well. Okay, now on to the good stuff you all have been waiting for.
Health tips, wellness advice. No hype. Welcome to Healthy Living with Eric Sue, the show that inspires, motivates, and educates you towards your healthiest life. And now your host, Eric Sue.
Hey guys, Eric Sue here. Welcome to another episode of Healthy Living with Eric Sue. We have a special astrologist with us today. Her name is Nors Beatriz. We'll be talking about changing your health with astrology and intuition coaching. So without any delay, let me introduce you all to Nors. Nors, are you ready to make it happen?
Yes, let's go.
Awesome. Nors Beatriz was working as a high-end executive assistant from the time she graduated from DePaul University. With a degree in communications and journalism, she worked for companies like Driehaus Securities, Marex Properties, is that Fifield? Fifield. John Davis of Taste of California Wines, until she was hit by a drunk driver and had a near-death experience. This led her to her second act of doing healing work in Chicago for over 20 years. Now she is starting a third act using Gems and Astrology to help people. Her goal is to help people know that it's never too late to switch gears and go for what you want. Life is too short not to be happy, and if you really want to try something new, just start now. Wow, Nors, that was a little bit about who you are. Can you share with our audience a little bit more on how you got started?
Yeah, sure. I think having that near-death experience, which happened in my late 20s, really changed my focus. Before then, I was happy to be working as an executive assistant for some really cool people here in Chicago, traveling on private planes and having a really busy business life. But that didn't leave a lot of time for friends and family and downtime. In fact, sometimes I would be so tired from coming home and unpacking and just having the repacking, I was starting to wonder what everything was going, in my life, what was going on. I was kind of getting stressed out, and I got hit by a drunk driver, and it completely changed my life. I spent like about 6 months flat on my back, and during the recovery process, I learned a lot about myself and my health, and I realized I had an ulcer that I hadn't been dealing with, and the doctors pretty much told me if I didn't take better care of myself, I was really eating myself up from the inside. So this accident really opened up my life, and I started seeking out people to help me. Little by little, I started getting better, and when I got better, I realized that I really enjoyed some of the healers that I had met, and I decided to go into healing work. Craniosacral and reflexology were some of the things that really helped me get back on my feet, and so that's what I did. I became a massage therapist, and I learned craniosacral and learned reflexology from really top people. I went to New York to study with Laura Norman at her school. And then I studied craniosacral from the Upledger Institute. And I wanted to give back to to people what I had learned, because there's so many great alternative healing methods that can really help you that people don't know about. And I kind of made that my mission. And being in Chicago, it's kind of a tough city. I mean, I was probably one of the first alternative people to have like a small private practice, and did okay. I'm getting older, and I just really realized that I really like to spend more time like talking to people, doing things that are more gentle for my body. So it's just kind of leading me to do the gems. And when you do body work for as long as I have, you also can't help but get more intuitive. So I have been learning more about astrology because I've met thousands of people, and there are certain traits that I can see based on astrological signs that, you know, have really helped me a lot in work. And I really do believe that gemstones can support us. It's not magic. Stones have been around on the earth for thousands of years. So they have a lot of energy stored in them, and I do believe that gemstones are not only pretty and you can make awesome jewelry out of them, but they can be great talismans to bring luck or love into your life. But you have to find the right ones for you. Everyone has like their own stone that works best for them, and I'm finding that astrology is really helpful, and so I've been getting more into that. And it's also really a lot more easy on my body because I'm getting into my 50s, and you know, you have to change too. It's not good for a person to keep doing the same thing over and over. I mean, I really believe that, you know, like life has seasons too, and it's good for you to change what you're doing, change things up, you know, your workout routine, your diet, what you ate when you were in your 20s certainly isn't, you know, good for you as you get older. So you really have to focus on eating more healthy. And that also affects, you know, astrology-wise, what your astrological sign is. You know, like I think some people really have to watch their diets better than other people. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now.
Awesome note. Nors, that was a really good explanation of a little bit more about who you are, where you're coming from. We'll dive into all that stuff a little bit more. However, let's learn a little bit more about you. And the question is, what's one cool, unique fact about yourself? My audience really enjoys this answer.
Well, it's funny. I was born here in Chicago on Chicago's birthday, and I'm a twin. So I always thought that it was really special, kind of being like, I'm a Pisces, and Chicago is a Pisces city. And it is a very water city. Chicago has a lot of Pisces. I mean, and the sign of the two fish is actually very strong. You know, we're old souls. Chicago's a really old city. And Chicago actually means wild onion. So it was a Native American term. And I thought that's kind of special for me to be born in the city. I mean, the near-death experience is pretty weird, too. And that also led me to change my life. And I think that matches my astrological sign. And I've known a lot of Pisces who have had near-death experiences. You know, you're going one way in life, and all of a sudden you go another way, which kind of matches that Pisces sensibility. You know, and they are old souls, so.
Very good. Excellent. I like the idea that you're a twin, as I am a twin as well. I may have mentioned that to you, and so we have something pretty special in common there.
Oh, that's cool. Mine is a boy, so.
Oh, okay. That's cool. That's cool.
We're fraternal twins.
And we're fraternal twins. I'm a fraternal twin.
Oh, cool. I did not know that. You didn't mention that.
I didn't mention it. Okay, now you know. And I think a lot of my audience knows that. But anyhow, When I spoke with you last time, it was very interesting to me, and I'm fascinated by all of this stuff. I really don't know a lot, so I'll be learning along with all my audience here. Can you just describe a little bit about how you help people with astrology and what you do?
Sure. Let's kind of like maybe use you for example. What's your astrological sign?
Great. I am a Virgo. I was born September 10th.
Okay. Well, without, doing a chart or anything, your sign, Virgo, is your mascot's an angel. And angels are here on the planet to help, other people, which is kind of apropos for what you're doing. And I know that you're into health. And that's actually what Virgo is, that when we look at the chart, their sign is the sign of the house of health. So that's kind of interesting. And so that's like a small thing. But beyond that, like I would say, like when I work with people, finding out just their basic astrological sign without doing their chart, because I can do the chart and then there would be a lot more information. But basically, like Virgos need to be really happy doing what they're doing. If they're not doing a job that kind of matches their sign, which is being helpful to people and probably doing something in the health-related field. There's a lot of doctors and nurses who are Virgos, believe it or not. So, I would say find something that's like related to, helping people with their health, nutritionist, or dietitian, cook, being in the food industry, like anything where you feel like a lot of satisfaction, because, Virgos are usually really good cooks, because they have to feed themselves too. If I met a Virgo who wasn't taking good care of themselves and they had a crappy diet, I would be like, see, you need to start like buying, eating healthier, better food, being an angel to yourself, basically. What's keeping you from being, your true, happy, fulfilled angel. So you start with, maybe start with yourself and getting yourself happy. And then you can help other people finding out what your true passion is. Because Virgos are like super helpful. I mean, they really are great friends. At like all my Virgo friends, if I were sick, they'd be like, what do you need? I mean, pretty much if you went to a Virgo's house, you might open up their medicine cabinet and find like they have everything, like all kinds of aspirins and Band-Aids and things that you might want or need. They're like usually really informative. They make the best moms. They're good at nursing their kids, They can be a little bossy, but that's okay. Sometimes you need a healer who's going to push you. I mean, if I had a personal trainer who was a healer, who's a Virgo, then I would know that they were really pushing me because they see my potential. They would push me to move my body probably harder than like another trainer, because they see that and they want me to like work harder. So Virgo people can be really like at their best, they're helpers. And so that's a little bit about what I do. Usually when people come see me, they might be kind of suffering mentally, internally, from something that makes them sad. Maybe they're not really they don't feel like they're fulfilling their life's promise. Like we all want to do something with our life. We want to have a job that makes us feel really good to go to. We want to feel like we're doing something really important. So I think it's like astrology can help you know a little bit more about what yourself is to kind of help you find what you need to get into. And just a little bit of astrology can help. It gives you a little bit kind of clear vision. You need to start. Everybody needs to start, and there's nothing wrong with using like a little bit of astrology. It's been around for hundreds of ages, so it's not like it's this made up hoo-hoo stuff. And I think people are finally really getting that and understanding that aspect of it, and that it can be helpful.
I'm wondering, not to cut you off here, Nors. I'm wondering here, what do you advise when you see someone who's not aligned, I guess is the word, with their astrological sign? What if I wasn't in health and wellness? What if I wasn't the caring type of person that you think I am, which I am, but what if I wasn't?
Well, that's the part that's holding you back. I mean, like, either you want to be your most positive self or you're going to be your most negative self. And if you're not aligned, then you're not happy. I mean, most people who are not like happy are really angry, and they wind up taking it out on other people. And it's really like helping people become their best self. And you have to start somewhere. Like, a person needs to be open enough to hearing that information. If you're not open to hearing it, then why would you come to me? Because I'm not going to be able to help you if you're going to be a grouch and you're going to like poo-pot everything, So you have to be open to hearing something. And that's where we can start. Like it's baby steps. If you're in really horrible health, it's baby steps. You're not going to get, well overnight. Getting sick takes a long time, right, to get sick. And so that makes sense. The healing process can also take a long time. I mean, when I was hit by the drunk driver, I was, first told that I probably would never walk again. And, I first believed it, but then I saw how miserable I was, unhappy. And if you have a brain, you have to believe in yourself more than what other people tell you. And I realized quickly that if I didn't start believing in myself and pushing myself, I probably would, live up to those people's expectations. And so when I started walking and I was in a lot of pain for a long time, then the doctor said, well, you'll probably always have to live with that pain the rest of your life. And that's when I started seeking out alternative healers, because I knew I couldn't do it alone, and I needed like other people's wisdom to help me get on the road. And not every healer, was, meshed with me, but even that pushed me. Every healer I went to kind of led me to the next healer, so sometimes you have to go on this journey. If you're not aligned, not everyone you meet is going to help get aligned you, but sometimes you have to go on that journey to even to meet those people, because until you get on that path to start aligning yourself, you have to go through a lot of stuff, a lot of steps. Some steps are going to take you a little bit backwards, but every step you take, even if it's one step backwards, is going to take you 2 or 3 steps forward. So getting aligned is a process of your mind and your heart and your body. Like, they all have to come together to get together, to get together to move forward. I mean, you have to like look at yourself and be willing to open your mind to admit that you're not aligned. So it's a journey, it's a process. It doesn't happen in one day. But something that I say to somebody, they might remember, 6 months and go, wow, now I understand what she meant. And I've had people who've come in and they were like so happy and they totally got it right away. Whereas like a person might not get it right away, but I had a great experience with a woman who, she actually called me like a year later and I totally forgot about her. And she said that that our conversation had helped her a lot, and that she was like so grateful she was calling me to let me know, because even though she didn't understand it right away, eventually it hit her. And even if it took a year later, I thought that was like a wonderful, feedback to get from her. So it's up to the person, I mean, if you come in going to see an alternative healer and you come in with a bad attitude, you're going to leave with a bad attitude, So if you want to go see like a healer like me, or anyone who does physical body work or anything alternative, like go in with an open mind and be open to hearing and be grateful for their wisdom. And I guarantee you, like, you will get some sort of gift, some exchange that will be helpful for you either now or in the near future. Like it's as simple as that. So it's not an like overnight or instant thing. So it does take, some time. Like changing your diet, I mean, it takes time to reap the benefits, but over the long term, you'll be much healthier if you start changing your diet, right?
Right. No, I was going to ask you real quick here, speaking of health and nutrition, there are a lot of people who are struggling with weight. There are a lot of people struggling with eating issues and so forth. And where do the two align, or how do the two work when you work with their astrology or intuition, for example?
Well, like when I meet like a Gemini person, like they at their best they have a lot of energy, at their worst they don't. Some signs can tend to put on more weight than others, and sometimes you could be too skinny, like some Geminis can be way too thin, and so they need to eat a lot more meals throughout the day, just to keep them that energy. But they need to learn to eat healthy meals, and they also need to like work out to get stronger. Like for a Gemini, maybe like tennis is a good exercise because they're usually pretty quick thinkers. They're kind of like rabbits. They're running around doing so much. They're crazy. I have a great Gemini friend who, I swear, she makes me tired just thinking about what she does in one day. I'm like, how can you do all that stuff? And when I first met her, she really wasn't eating that well. But now she's like, makes sure she eats really good meals, and she carries like really good snacks with her. But that's how she can get through like doing, she's an artist and a painter, so she's really into doing a lot of varied artwork. And so, having a proper diet, sorry, that's my dog, really helps her stay focused and gives her that sustained energy to pull long nighters. And a lot of Gemini people don't need a lot of sleep, but they need like a deep sleep. So even if it's like a few hours of really deep sleep, they do really well, but they do have to like work out their body. Some people like Virgos and Leos might tend to gain a lot of weight when they're unhappy. Like Leos in the wild, lions in the wild, like that's the mascot for Leo. And the earth angels, they come to earth to help people. They kind of have a similarity because they're these, lions are, earthly creatures, but angels they came to earth, and it's like earth is really heavy. And so Leos need to put some exercise into their life, but nothing like, they're not usually like really into running, but sports that are like kind of more like, I don't know. And it's really funny because a lot of them don't like to swim, which is funny. But like sports that are, again, maybe like tennis or using a Nordic track, like where they can control the speed. They'll have like pushes of power. They want to do some exercise, but more like power walking, I'd say, or strength. Like short bursts of strength. And also like the Leo, because Leos can be a little bit sedentary. They like, really nice things, as the Virgos do. They can be like really comfy and cozy in their homes, and then they don't want to like leave. And they have like really nice things. They have all their, great television and stereo, and Leos and Virgos tend to share like, their good cooking skills. You can pack on the pounds, So it's like, watching what you eat, like seeing what your habits are. If you're an angel and you're helping people way too much, then that can like really eat at your energy and make you sad, and then you can, overeat. People do that mindless eating, but it's stress. It's actually caused by stress. I mean, if you're giving all your energy to other people and you're helping them, then you wind up mindless eating, because you're stressed out. So, yeah, there's some signs that need to watch their weight, and there's other signs that, need to eat because they're running around like hummingbirds, like just, like Aries can be like hummingbirds, and they need to like eat. They need to make time to eat properly. So, yeah, it's kind of fun looking at people's personalities through astrology and what they're like. I always say it's like their best or highest potential, rather than the lowest negative potential. I mean, if you're in a bad spot, like any sign, you might be exhibiting the worst, like the negative stuff, like when a Virgo is really unhappy, then they worry too much about money, and like it just really freaks them out, and that's not a good thing. Like even cartoon characters, I once read that Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, his astrological sign is a Virgo, and he's a grouch, he's like so mean, and he's really stingy, he's like exhibiting the worst of, Virgo. Like he's not helpful, he's super stingy, he doesn't help people, and he doesn't even take care of his body. Like he's an alcoholic, who doesn't eat, Yeah. So like a happy Virgo would be cooking healthy food and helping the neighbors and giving to charities, because they were doing well, that they feel grateful, like, and that's what a happy Virgo would be. They would actually be healing the planet by being their happy self, Well,
let me ask you this real quick before I didn't want to cut you off there, but we're actually getting very close to the end of the show, and I wanted to make sure that you got to explain to people how they can get a hold of you. But before that here, is there any steps that people can take to find the information that you just shared, or should they just contact you? I mean, are there other resources?
Yeah, I mean, they could contact me, and I can always like lead them to other people or places or information. So yeah, they can reach me at themojoowl@gmail.com. That's my email address, or find me through my jewelry website. It's mojoowl.com. Or if they want to come in for like a craniosacral session, like nowstudio.co. Yeah, there's,
we'll make sure we have those. Places. Yeah, we'll make sure we have those contact links and information in our show notes. Okay. And so there's so much to say about astrology and gems. We didn't even get into that part of it. However, I'm assuming there's so much to learn about this. what would be one last piece of advice you could share with our audience regarding this, helping them with their health, with astrology?
Well, know more about yourself. I mean, there's some really great astrologers out there, and if you want to just basically concentrate on your sign, just without even doing a chart, just what is your sun sign? And that's like when you were born, okay? And know a little bit more about you and really take a good look at yourself. What are your really positive aspects and what are your negative stuff, and be honest with yourself. And then really, look at how you're doing. Are you taking good care of yourself to be your best positive? Because how can you think clearly if you don't feed your body well, and if you don't take care of your body? If you're, constantly under stress, like, working out gives you endorphins. It makes you feel better. So if you're in a lot of pain, maybe you need to start moving. And how do you want to move? Do you like gentle sports, or do you like, like running or, high impact sports? So it's really, a lot of it has to do with our personality, and our personality is often reflected in our astrological sign. And then again, like the gems are just a different part, I mean, they're like jewelry, but they can be talismans. And so I like to say they're like, charms. I like to create things for people to wear. And they have to know themselves a little bit better, at that point. So I think that's, just start basic. Just start knowing what you are and seeing how you can make yourself better from that. I mean, it's pretty simple, but people make it a lot harder than they need to, I think. Excellent.
Very good, Nors. I know there's so much more we can talk about. I know that you are well knowledgeable about this whole area, and we may have to do another episode down the road. However,
yeah, let's see how it goes. Let's see how your audience likes it.
Awesome. So I just wanted to let you know that we really appreciate you, and this is going to be very impactful, I know. So I will let you go for now, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thanks for having me, Eric.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Healthy Living with Eric Sue. Head over to ericwsue.com for full recaps of every show in Eric's Health and Wellness blog. Your healthy living life is waiting for you, so stay active and be safe.